Okay, so this is the second attempt at making this video. I just recorded like 7 minutes of me talking and deleted it immediately because I couldn't figure out what I wanted to actually talk about, dude. So, but I got some suggestions, so I'm gonna tell you about some really shitty jobs I had and have. That's not the only reason I wanted to make this video. I turned 24 this last Sunday, and the age, I don't know why, but it's really hitting me that I'm 24 for some reason. But I wanted to try and give some advice to the people in high school, if any of them watch this. So first thing I want to say is don't ever kill yourself for a job. Please don't, bro. Like, it's not worth it at all, man. I have so many friends that are not even my friends anymore because they refuse to take a day off, and they're in the same spot they were when they started. Not just that, but I also did it myself at one point in my life. I think it's when I was around 21 or 20, and I worked at this company called ABC Bus Company, and I was a painter, bodywork, all that stuff, right? And don't get me wrong, that was a cool ass job. In fact, to this day, that's my most desired and fun job I've ever experienced in my life. Wow, that is a terrible sentence. Anyways, so while I was there, I was making a decent amount of money for what my job was. It was more than I'd ever made up until that point in my life. But while I was there, I made friends with a couple guys, and we had the idea to try and open our own shop, like start running our own business. And we did go through with it. It was going well. They're still my buddies. I still think they're cool as fuck. But that business is no longer up, obviously. But while I was doing that, so while I was working at ABC and running that shop with my friends, I took up another job at a smaller shop out the back of a dealership, and I would work there immediately after getting off work at ABC, which is at 5. So my day would go, wake up around 6 a.m. because I was like an hour away. I lived in Lake County, and ABC was in, I can't remember the counties, but it was an hour away for me to get there. It was a long ass drive. Every morning, get there, work the whole day, get off at 5, haul ass to the job in Orlando. So that's like another 45-minute drive because that's where the dealership job was, right? And then if I had a customer's car at the shop, I had to go work on it because they need their car back. And dude, I wouldn't get home till like 3 a.m. and then I'd have work the next day. So I was like a walking corpse for a little bit there, honestly. This is when I had my yellow RX-8 too. So that thing wasn't getting any good gas mileage. It was the 4-port 4-speed too, the worst one. I'm sorry if you guys don't know about cars, but I love RX-8s. I love rotaries. At the time, I didn't know much about them, but I was learning, and I loved that car. Obviously, I wouldn't get another 4-port. I'm sitting in an RX-8 right now. This is a 6-port. I'm so sorry. I'm going on a tangent about fucking cars. Anyways, point is, I've seen too many young people throw their mental health and physical health out the window for money. And don't get me wrong, money makes the world go round. I love money too, but we have to lessen our value on this paper currency, man. It's gonna drive all of us into the fucking dirt, you know? Even worse is like most people that do that, they end up not being able to stick with it because they ignored their other priorities in their life for work. And don't get me wrong, I love a hard-working person. I consider myself a hard worker. But as I got older, I just felt more and more like shit, man. And even worse, none of it really ever worked out for me. So I ended up, now, I'm not saying I'm a lazy piece of shit now. I just know how to balance out my work and life situation. Especially since I'm not exactly, it's not advised that I put too much stress on myself because, So the first company I want to talk about. Should I talk about my current job? I really want to, because I can't lie to you, bro. Every time I think about it, I'm like, they're pissing me off. I had to take a medical leave, right? Because I had a problem with my stomach. I was out for like a month. I asked them to use my PTO because I had a bunch saved up because I never took a day off, right? And they're like, yeah, and then just didn't use it, right? But let's ignore that part, right? So month passes. I go back to work. I'm feeling better. I got my pills. I got all this medicine I got to take now. I got a new diet, all of that shit. I'm like, cool, let me get back to work. So I tell my manager, I'm like, hey, man, just give me like 25 hours, 15 to 25 hours. That's fine. You know what I mean? 15 being the minimum, He gave me 6 hours for the week. Who the fuck is living off of 6 hours of work? If I can find one person that can survive off of a 6-hour check being paid at minimum wage, $13.50 here in Florida in 2025, that's not a lot of money. That is exactly $95.40, I believe, after taxes. Less than $100 a week. I'm sorry? And dude, the only reason I'm like kind of floating right now is because of my significant other, because they're working and I feel like shit for it. And I know like it would be like, oh, just go to a new job. See, the problem is the car I'm sitting in is my car, but the transmission is next to me. I'm going off on a tangent about myself. Back to the point. This company, okay, no, I'm not gonna talk about my current job. They're full of shit though. Don't worry, I have a real good video coming on that. I've been piling up fucking evidence for a while now. Oh, I can't wait. I cannot wait. I mean, I might as well. 6 hours isn't exactly something that I don't feel like I'm losing anything at that point. So yeah. I want to tell you about one of my older jobs whenever I was 18 or 19. My first shop job was at Mako, the paint company, the paint your car. They're like, oh, $500 paint jobs, and people eat that shit up. Yeah, that was my first job. I was a prepper. The manager, one of the weirdest guys I've ever met in my fucking life. I mean, like, listen, he was a nice guy, don't get me wrong, but he was weird, dude, and up his own ass, like hard, dude. His name was Bobby. Oh, fucking Bobby. Listen, the best part of that story is one time I went over to his house. Me and my significant other went to his house because he invited me for lunch with him and his girlfriend. The man was 60-something, by the way. So, I was like, yeah, I don't see why not. His house was relatively close to where I lived at the time, so fuck it. I go over there. He's fucking around in his garage or some shit like that. I don't fucking know. And he's watching football, right? And he's getting into it. He's like, yeah. I don't watch football. I don't know what to say. Anyways, and out of nowhere, I mean like really, really out of nowhere, he drops a hard R. He was like, run it. I was like, whoa. Actually, no, that wasn't even my reaction. I just kind of stared at him. Because I don't get easily offended, to be honest with you. Like, somebody call me the hard R, I'll probably be like, cool. You know what I mean? Because you don't need everyone to like you. As long as they're not harassing you. You call me hard R and walk away. I'll be like, all right, have a good day. But anyways, so his girlfriend was so embarrassed, dude. Like, she looked at me, she was like, Bobby, what the fuck? And sorry. Like, he didn't forget it. He knew what the fuck he was doing. But I had neither the time nor the patience to try and get into that, whatever the fuck that would have turned into. Wait, let me check how much time I have left. Oh, I'm chilling 10 minutes. Oh man, 10 minutes is kind of long. Oof. Okay, I'll tell one more story. Let's see. I'm thinking. Oh, okay. All right, the next one, right? This one was like a year or two later. Yeah, it was a year or two later because I turned 20 while at this other job. It was called I don't know, but it was a shop, like a paint body shop, mechanic shop, and a towing company, right? And I put in my application, right? And at this time, I didn't have a job for a while, and my car at the time was a 2006 Ford Mustang. I did a lot of work to it, painted it, dropped it, put wheels on it, gutted the interior. I did a lot of shit to it. I love that car. I'll put up a picture maybe or something like that. But point is, at the time I didn't have money, and that car was through a dealership, so I had to make payments. But your boy was not making payments because he didn't have any money. So my car was like in the repo list, right? And I knew it. So I'd cover the VIN, I'd swap the license plate out before I went to sleep, all that. One night, I didn't cover the VIN properly, and he got my ass. Now, the reason I bring that up is because I put in the application for that job when I had my car. It took them so long to respond that it was like a month and a half passed, and then by then my car was gone, and then I get an email the next day, and they're like, "You want to come in for a meeting?" I'm like, bro. Any fucking time before this, that would have been awesome. Anyways, that's just a little side tangent. So, I hope I'm speaking clearly, cause I'm talking fast, and my mouth is dry, cause I just fucking lit it up in there. So I get hired or whatever, and the owner, I'm not gonna give his name. Him and his wife ran the shop. They were relatively nice people at first. Kind of weird though. They gave me a weird vibe, especially since I couldn't tell how old they were. Like, they looked like they were in their 30s, just for me to hear that they were like 2 years older than me at the time. The first sign I had that they were kind of off was when they fired the tow truck guy. And I knew the tow truck guy. Me and him were cool, right? I don't remember his name. He had a Honda Civic Si, the new one at the time. It's fucking awesome. But they fired him. I don't know what happened. I didn't ask. And for some reason, they called the cops on him at the same time. Now, I don't know. The reason I say for some reason, because he never got aggressive. I saw this interaction. He did not get aggressive. But they called the cops on him. And then I was like, well, that's a bit much. Okay. But then it happened again with another employee. And then when I got fired, it was almost the same situation. And then I had a buddy that stayed working with them for a while after I went on with my life. And one day I went back to go visit him, say hi and shit, you know? And they almost called the cops on me again. And I was like, dude, like they were looking at me like I had a gun in my hand, like ready to start blasting. I completely skipped over what made the job shitty. I loved that job, first off, when I started there. I was just a prepper. There was this old dickhead of a dude who also was up his own ass. Old people are really up their own ass, like really up there. But he would like teach me stuff. Everything he taught me was kind of bullshit, because after I learned everything myself, I realized he really didn't know what the fuck he was talking about. Anyways, so whenever I first started working there, cool, I would stay late after we closed, and they would let me work on whatever car I had in the shop, like by myself, just doing whatever I could use, any tools, paint, all that shit. It was fucking awesome. That shit was great, bro. You have no idea. I painted a bunch of shit from my other car friends too. I think I did a diffuser. I did rims at one point. It was fucking fun, bro. Like, oh man, if I have pictures, I'll put it up. But then we moved shops and stuff, and that's when I met my buddy that ended up staying with them afterwards. So the reason I mention that is because eventually I became the painter, obviously, if I'm painting wheels. But then they hired my buddy, and he took over as painter, and they threw me on the mechanic side. Now, that wouldn't be a problem today, but see, back then, I wasn't a mechanic. I had no idea. I had like the smallest amount of mechanical experience. I knew a lot about cars, but that doesn't automatically make you mechanically inclined. And at the time, I just didn't know enough to feel comfortable working on people's cars. But he threw me in there, and this is the best part. Anytime I had a question or didn't know what the fuck I was doing, look at me, straight face, look it up on YouTube. And I was like, that sounds sketchy, dude. That's sketchy. Imagine you take your car to a mechanic and they're watching a YouTube video on how to work on your car before, I'd be like, yeah, I'm just gonna go home. It's all right. I'll just let it blow up. I'll get another car. But yeah, that always, and it actually turned out exactly as it. Like, I'm pretty good at learning stuff, because once I see it and repeat it, and it sticks. But the main problem I had was that I would forget to tighten bolts down after putting them in. And there was a lot of times where they wouldn't go test driving and shit was just not running right, bro. And I always felt like shit for it. And they really got on my ass about it. Even though they would never try to like teach me or help me or any of that shit, they just kind of threw me into the fire. And then when I came out burnt, they were like, dude, what the fuck is wrong with you? Why'd you run into that? Like, you know what I mean? Doesn't make any sense. But yeah, no, that was still a cool ass job though. I gotta be honest with you. So, I've completely lost the point of this. I don't know what I'm talking about anymore, but I'm gonna stop it here because I don't want this to be too long. Cause, yeah, all right, that's it. Is there anything else on there? No, that's it. All right, later.